Hello and welcome to The Agent is In, episode 42, special Halloween edition. Today we're going to have a chat with Bass, who is one of the CFEngine champions. He's been using CFEngine for many years, and he's contributed quite a lot of code as well as being ever active in the chat room and on the mailing list. Hi, Bass.
Hello, Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the agent today.
Oh, sorry. The agent with the stips.
The agent is in. So, could you tell me about how you got started in like the IT industry? I mean, I know that you've been using CFEngine since forever, but I'm curious about some of your early roles and like how you got into the mess of IT.
I started at chemical engineering and then I ended up in the National Aerospace Laboratory. And after 5 years, I went to the Dutch National Compute Center, SURF, SARA, it was being called. And I had to maintain a lot of silicon graphics machines and AEX IBM machines. And I was doing the same stuff on those machines. So I was looking for a piece of software that can help me out. And then I stumbled on the software that was written by Mark Burkes in the Oslo University in 1999, 2000, I think. So that is how I started my journey with CFEngine.
So when you found CFEngine, I guess like were there other tools that you were comparing it against? Did you have
No, there were not other tools, but CFEngine was the only tool that could do it. And you did it with in those days you did it with your own bash scripts or your own shell scripts. Bash was also not available on most systems. So that was my first encounter with configuration management. So and CFEngine was the only one. And that was CFEngine 1.1.4 or something, or 1.3. So it was before CFEngine 2.
Wow. So I guess what was your impression? I mean, I remember when I started using CFEngine and how different applying that model was to, maybe scripts and stuff that I had before. Scripts and stuff that I had before, I would usually try to write similar, I guess, from the perspective of executing those scripts on the host rather than executing those scripts to come in and do something. So for me, part of the standard model of CFEngine, do it locally, was something I was already trying to do. But I'm curious, how different was using CFEngine versus all of your other custom scripts? And what did you think that, what was that process of, did that change the way that you thought about managing hosts? Or
Yes, it changed a lot because I was doing the scripts and doing all the exceptions. And then I had to learn in classes, not classes, and exclude them and not run on those hosts. And was this a bug in CFEngine or did I do it wrong? Or so it was a steep learning curve in those days in the beginning. And that is also the journey that I ended up patching CFEngine because I found some issues and I want to fix them because it really helped me out with maintaining a lot of Silicon Graphics workstations instead of distributing my own scripts to those hosts and then thinking, oh, did I apply it or didn't I have applied the patches or the configuration changes? So CFEngine taught me how to structure the changes and also that those changes are always checked if they are applied. So it helped me out a lot and and how to maintain and configure systems. It changed it totally. I had a totally other vision for that, so it helped me out a lot to rethink system administration. Let's phrase it that way.
What do you think was the most challenging part of that?
The challenging in the beginning was the classes and the language. So in the beginning, in CFEngine 1, you couldn't, you had to write your code over and over again. You couldn't reuse it. Also in CFEngine 2. So you ended up with a lot of code, and you have to think about that. And the language was also a steep learning curve. And if you made an error in it, that could take a while before you had the parsing error or you know what the problem was. But it also saved me a lot of time in system administration. So that is why I put huge effort in putting CFEngine on all the hosts we had. So when we started with the first with the Beowulf cluster, we did a prototype. We did it on 6 hosts, and we ended up 1,200 hosts. But we could prove that we could maintain the system with just one server and with one policy server. So that was our credit, and we were granted that project, and the project lasted for 30 years. It ended last year, so.
Wow.
So,
So, I mean, you've been using CFEngine since 104.
yeah.
How has CFEngine evolved in the time that you've been using it?
It evolved huge because CFEngine 1 and 2, you had to, there was some declarative language, but you could not reuse a lot of code. And CFEngine 3, that's why it's called CFEngine 3. They rearranged it. You could reuse code, and in the beginning, there were a lot of bugs also in it, and then and you know, and it can be stable in CFEngine 3.3 or something. And we were on the we are also comparing it to the other configuration management at that time, and that was a Puppet and Ansible. And we are nearly in switching to another one, and then we find out that it's still working as expected. So we keep on going with CFEngine 3. So and the big change there was that I was invited by CFEngine Oslo to rewrite the parser. So that was also a good one. And when I was there in Norway, they say they were implementing a template language, the Mustache JSON stuff, and the dev JSON, and that I think is the best thing that could be happening to CFEngine, because then you could put your data externally and you could generate your configuration files. That was a huge asset because other configuration management systems could already done that with Jinja and YAML or JSON. So that opened the road for our standard library that we developed at Surf.
So you think augments, def.json,
Yeah.
other augments, you think that has been, maybe you think that's your favorite feature in the last?
Yeah. I think the augment file with the Musa templating are the favorite features that for now, and now it's still evolving because I also like the CFEngine build system, because it is easy for me now to generate my own master files with stuff that I have written and you have written, CFEngine company has written, and I can easily merge that. And nowadays the promise types, the custom promise types is also a good one. So that you can easily extend the language now. So it is more it's better now. So it's more mature and it was already mature, but there are nice features that are added to the core. So I like that a lot. So with the custom promise type, the CFEngine build system, and the argument files, we can do a lot. And we have a lot of people that don't know CFEngine at all and only update the JSON or the mustache files. So we have different roles in our company. So we have policy writers, and we have just people that configure Apache or other things, and they only have to touch the JSON files.
I guess then, like, kind of on the topic of features, do you have thoughts about like other things that you would like to see in CFEngine, or ideas for new or improved functionality?
Yeah, you know already. We use the same CFEngine key we use that as a role. So all our computer host has the same role. It's the same CFEngine key. And it would be nice if the key is not used as the primary key for the CFEngine mission portal. So it is for us not usable at this moment. So that would be nice to also look into that one. So I think that is for me the major one, and I've already have the all the new features that I can use. So. And if something comes into my mind, I always open the ticket or ask in the matrix room how other think about this new feature or enhancement. So,
Let's see here. Talk about some new functionality there. I mean, it is Halloween. Do you have any horror stories?
the horror story. The horror story is, I think, is that Now I think about it. Just came into my mind is that I rewrote the parser and I found a bug in the parser code, and that we just applied it, and that it broke a lot of things for other sites, so we had to reverse it. So I think
That wasn't the trailing comma?
Yeah, there was the trailing comma.
Trailing comma.
Yeah, I think that we didn't address that in the properly in the first patch.
Yeah, 3.5. I think that was what, 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5. I think to 3.6, and I think that made a lot of impact for other CFEngine users.
Yeah, it definitely required a lot of touches to the policy.
Yeah.
It was a simple change, make sure there's no comma here, and the error message was very explicit. But certainly, if you do have a bunch of people who aren't spending a lot of time writing policy, getting throwing a wall of error messages about things you need to go touch is.
Yeah, we could address that with a warning and then say you have to update your code, but we just error it out. So that was not a good approach, I think.
So for other organizations that are considering using CFEngine, or maybe they've been using CFEngine for a long time, but haven't, if they haven't been staying current with any of the newer tooling or anything like that, do you have any advice, or what advice do you have for anybody who maybe has a long time CFEngine environment but not modernized, or people who are just looking to start with CFEngine?
My advice is just start with the CFEngine build system and build your master files from there. and maybe you have a script that can also patch your master files easily. And we have also a custom promise type that just copy from the local dir, as you suggested. So you can easily patch before the master files are patched. And it is better maintainable with the CFEngine build system. And you can also try custom promise types easy. You can also try our serve library easy. So start if you start, or you want and you have a very old setup with a lot of custom patches, or you changed the CFEngine files, because a lot of people in the past did that they changed the master files, and that's why they cannot upgrade anymore, because they have too much local changes. Just try to build with the new CFEngine build system and with CF remote, and I think the deployment and creating of the master files has improved huge. And I'm also trying to be more in line with the master files, because I'm also in a very old base, and I'm switching gradually to the master files, but also with the CFEngine build system. So that's my advice. Just put some time and effort in the CFEngine build system, because there are a lot of custom promise type, a lot of modules or services that you can use. And if you don't use them, or if you found a bug, just say and make a merge request or something, so everybody can benefit from it.
So I know
I think
that you've got the Surf Sarah like framework is a build module. You've also got what Docker Compose module.
Yeah.
Are you using any other modules from build?
Well, from BS, we use the Git promise type a lot, and I've also sent some patches there, and used the group promise type, and also found some. This is usable, and I will suggest some changes. I use the HTTP promise type, and also playing with the links service module. So sometimes I just try one, and they are usable, and the Git is very usable, because I also use that for our own policy files. So I'm still more and more using those, and I use the Git, the Python promise types and the Bash promise types, the custom promise types. I use both. So and we have some in-house promise types. I will open them up to load kernel modules or unload kernel modules. So, and some more. But I really like the custom promise type, because it hides a lot of complexity. And in our environment, we have also a lot of inventory bundles. So for decode and LSPCI, and to name it.
Is there any functionality in the CFBS tooling that you think is lacking? Or
No. I've not stumbled on lacking things. They are adding more and more features, so sometimes it's hard to keep up with all those new things. But I'm not lacking. No, it's for me. It's working perfectly.
Yeah, I know that you've already transitioned to using CFBS, but there is. I'll spill the beans. There is a little bit of work going on to help further, more specifically, identify cases where you've made modifications to the upstream framework, and be able to surface things like, this policy file here is back from 370 or 377, but you haven't yet removed it from your policy set, right? It's it's no longer part of the framework.
Yeah.
To kind of highlight some of those more specific details, or it looks like, especially with the old style, of maintaining a fully integrated policy set. It was, I mean, I've seen numerous times where policy framework upgrades were not really fully completed, right? Either leftover remnants or a few files weren't upgraded, and so kind of remain back in an old version, and things will continue to work for usually a long time without even noticing something, but then inevitably something little comes up and it's like, well, I see that you're using a very old library. You haven't updated your framework library or something like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, but nowadays the minimum version, maximum version, and the features thing that is also a good contrib to the code. So you can easily include code that is for future versions, or so that's also a good feature, I think. And if you are writing libraries for the open source, I'm heavily used those functions also. So those future functions, so to include and exclude code. So
yeah, the
I think
macros are
the macros. So that are really good also, I think. So that has also improved the portability between the different CFEngine versions.
Indeed.
And that is also helpful for our own serve library. So that's also.
How many hosts do you have under management with CFEngine now?
Now we had I think 1,500 or something. Now, yeah. Now the cluster, we have still the cluster. And we have and it's used by different departments. So it's also used in office automation for our Linux host. And I'm now working in an experimental technology platform where we test all kinds of new hardware and new PCI devices, and also have a cluster with decomposable hardware, so we can dynamically attach PCI cards to an host.
Oh, interesting.
And, so that's also nice that CFEngine then detect that the new card has been added. So if we attach an AMD GPU card, then the ROCm software has to be installed. If we attach an NVIDIA card, then the CUDA libraries have to be installed. So we have kind of pluggable model written in CFEngine in our E2P environment to handle those scenarios.
That's very cool.
Yeah, but that's for workflow. So we can then dynamically attach an AMD card, an NVIDIA card, and an FPGA in one machine. And then for a workflow, sometimes you need an AMD card, GPU card, and an NVIDIA GPU card, and an FPGA in one host. And we dynamically configure those hosts. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I just realized that I sort of have dominated the conversation. I haven't. But Craig, did you have anything that you wanted to ask about? I was just like,
you're doing great, Nick. What you just mentioned actually made me think of something we've thought about for many years, which is like changing the model of when agent policy gets executed into like an event-driven, kind of like a UDEV, UDEV kind of hooks and stuff like that a lot of people write. So that might be something that we might get to at some point. I mean, you could probably do something as simple.
Yeah,
but
I know
don't know. How are you doing it?
No, I know. I played with Salt Zero and QBus to put something on the bus and then
Okay.
and then fire up a CFEngine. So the Salt daemon fires up the CFEngine promise. So I've done some testing in that environment, but it would be nice if we have a multicast bus or something, so we can put an event on, and then another CFEngine can on another node can react to it. Now I come to that. I think that's lacking the communication between nodes event driven, that we can put some event on the bus and another host can react to it. And
Yeah,
I played with
definitely.
the zero MQ bus from Salt. Salt can do it. So the Salt daemon,
Mhm.
and then you fire up CFEngine with the right classes, and you can also do that. So
I know some environments that are doing that, not with not leveraging Salt specifically, but leveraging a message bus MQ.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
in that environment, super interesting because they use it in relation to their system patching. So when they apply their package updates, they use this bus to communicate things about backup images. So before a system is allowed to patch itself and reboot, you need to make sure that there is a fresh snapshot of that, right?
yes,
They've got some stuff that's running on like hypervisors, and then they've got other stuff that is running on just bare metal, and then they have yet other stuff which is like Solaris and jails. So they have different methodologies that work for all of these different cases. So when if they're running on the hypervisor environment, they say, "Oh, I'm ready to patch," and they look and say, "Hey, do I have a recent enough snapshot?" And if they don't, then they'll put on the bus like, "I need a snapshot."
yes,
And as soon as there is a snapshot, those systems then will auto patch and reboot. Similarly, in the Solaris environment, like, do I have I don't know what the right word is, but do I have these right snapshots of my jails that are running? And if I don't, make sure that I have them. And then even on the bare metal systems, to make sure that I think that they're using like XFS snapshots, copy on write stuff, to make sure that they have a full snapshot of the system before they go ahead and do that package upgrade and reboot, which gives them that ability to roll back a little bit easier if something doesn't work out. But
yeah. Those things sometimes a compute node does something, and we want to trigger something on a server node. So that's the same situation. So and that will be nice that we have a kind of bus things in CFEngine. Now I think about that one. So
yeah,
that will be that will be a nice feature.
right now the timescales for kind of distributed coordination, if you're only using like tooling that we provide out of the box, the
Yeah.
timescales aren't great, right? Because you're looking at, on the defaults at least, you're probably looking at a 10 to 15 minute kind of delay for this, coordination between machines and peer to peer totally works, but yeah, it's just a little bit more difficult to organize those groups. It's a lot easier with enterprise, but it's still the time scale isn't quite right. So I think it would be cool to have some sort of peer-to-peer data system and messaging to be able to speed
Yeah.
up.
And another thing that come just into my mind is a sort of fault management, secret management. We can do it with Harscop fault, but it will be nice if it just is in the core or something with GPT keys signed, or that we can just do the secret management. There is a sea of secret, but that it is nice, but it is not no, it is not the tool.
Exactly. Yeah. So CF Secret, that you can use CF Secret. It's an external tool that to encrypt assets for one or more hosts using
Yeah.
a host key, but there's not really language level support for that stuff yet. I know one of the things that we've got on our list is to improve secret support. So right now, if you use CF Secret as part of your policy to deal with some secret protection, it's encrypted and so protected at rest. But then when the policy executes, you'll execute that external tool and then pull in the secret into the execution environment. And one of the things on our list there is that we want this ability to be able to mark specific variables as secrets to prevent them from, leaking out in reporting data or logging or things like that.
Yeah.
And
I just wrote some policy like that, Nick. And yeah, I had to write a command that used CF secret decrypt, kind of all in the shell in such a way that, it wasn't in PS output, it wasn't in command output, it wasn't in variables, so I had to work at it to make it right, to make it safe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely something we could improve.
Yeah, that would also be nice. So those two things just came into mind. It makes it very nice to have secret management because everybody is asking for it, and we can do it default, another thing, and maybe in custom promise type or something. But I have to think also. I'm also still thinking about the scenarios, how to.
Yeah, Buzz, I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder, you've been writing policy for a long time. I wonder if you were to write like a short or medium length, like a blog post or something like that about kind of best practices or kind of how you like to structure policy so that you can understand it later, because often, like you write something in Perl and it's obfuscated, right? It's like write only, not read. So, yeah, I wonder like what if you I don't know, like if you can think of a couple of things that
we have a standard. We have some kind of standard in our service in our serve library. It is standard. It is like so we use auto-run and we use packages install, log rotate, all the standard things. We have written and a bundle for it. So and it can also always. It can be the basic configuration is in our bundle, but it can also be overwritten with JSON variables always. So we have some standards in it, and we always want those actions that so we can override them with JSON without even touching the service bundle anymore. So
this is a common theme. Yeah, this is a common theme. We have another a person who writes policy and has written quite a large framework that does enable non-CFEngine policy writers to do a lot of work.
Yeah, and that is the goal. So we identified in our cooperation in our company different roles. So we have the bare bones that can do the real CFEngine things. And above, they can also do something, but not doing the library stuff, because sometimes the library stuff is complicated, and you have the implicit loops, and you have the things, and you have to think carefully about that one, because you can also have that it doesn't work because CFEngine already thinks it has done it, but you have to have another depend on or another handle. The handle must be unique for that one. And then you have some that can write services because they know the building blocks, and some they only touch the JSON file. So we have 3 levels of engineers in our company.
Do you like subdivide their access like technically?
No.
Or just like in the mind, right?
Yeah, but because they know, they look at the code and then and they learn. In the beginning, they only do the JSON, and if they like it, then they go a level deeper. And if people are real technical, they come to me. Hey, boss, can we write a service bundle? Can we? Yeah, okay, we do it. And then you sit together, and all the service bundles are the same. So people just copy one bundle to the new bundle, and they are in business. So they have to. Oh, do I have? It's nearly the same. You always generate configuration files most of the time. You install packages, you want to promise that some files are for the right ownership or right mode. So it is not that difficult anymore if you think about servers. And if you know the servers, you know which files you have to pay attention to and which one you generate and which one you don't generate. And that is the years of experience, I think, that we had. In the beginning, we altered the configuration files with edit files, and then we thought, nah, that's too cumbersome. So now we promise the whole file on a different location. So we don't touch the system files that much anymore because the Apache configuration is completely separate from the Debian or the Red Hat configuration. So we only say you have to look for your config on a different path. So if the Apache or another or Nginx is upgraded, we don't care. It's only it looks to a different configuration file.
Right.
Do you do a lot of context-based filtering with the data that you load, or is the data already kind of broken up into not needing to be filtered more?
No. So yeah, we have argument files based on we merge them. So we started. I think domain, then OS, and then key. So the key is the role, and the last one wins everything. So we just supply usable defaults, and then we merge all the JSON files.
Are you using the augments key to merge those then? So that's all it's all happening early before any policy language.
No, so it is the augment key uses that one, and our library we have an update. We have our own update CF master in our master files policy that fetches the domain and that fetches the key from the CF servd. And the OS is easy because that is just sys flavor. And in the key files, we also use two kinds. We use the flavor, the Debian or Red Hat or you name it, and we use the architecture because nowadays we have also ARM and other computer systems. So we wanted to be very flexible. So we use for the domain we use sysflavor and the architecture a lot to load the right JSON files. So it's completely dynamically.
Cool.
And in the past it was. Nowadays it is just Linux with Debian, Red Hat, Ubuntu, you name it. In the past you had far more different OSs and different. You had MIPS, you had Spark, you name it, Power PCs. So
I don't know, Craig. Did you have any other questions? I mean, it's been super fun to have you on and chat about some of the history and maybe some of the.
It's also super fun to talk to a box.
It's a one-time special.
This isn't your
we have,
new costume?
Yeah, 42, so that's the magic number. So that's also fun. So we have two fun facts here.
Oh my gosh, Nick has everyday fun facts. I used to have a bad dad joke of the day every day, but yeah, I think it'd be really cool to highlight your surf library, Surfsara, a bit more because it embodies a lot of years of experience, and I think that's really valuable. Are there any other kind of like design kind of infrastructure kind of framework kind of things that you have tried or that you're thinking of or anything like that? Or
No, in the past I looked to the new Watson one because he has also written a big one, the NCF, and no,
Evolve.
that's oh yeah,
NCF
evolved.
is the normation folks, right? It's either Nicholas Charles framework or
Yeah, but that is
normation
not.
CFEngine
Yeah,
framework or
and no, I have looked also to that one, but that is not that written very generic. And the evolve thing for new Watson has been written very generic, and nowadays with a lot of JSON and YAML merging, it depended more on the comma separated CSV files. It's still used by a lot of other sites, I know for sure, because sometimes I talk about that one.
do you
And
when you talk about the CSV parsing, are
yeah,
you be sure to mention the class filter CSV
yeah,
function. It is
yeah,
so much incredibly faster than parsing those and doing filtering in policy. I mean, orders of magnitude faster to leverage that function if you're using CSV.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. And for me, I use run class in JSON. So, but that's still parsing we have something also in our library, in our serve library. But I know that one is used by different sites. So and they're using it a lot.
We've also got plans, I think, I don't know exactly when they'll be prioritized, but we've got plans, I think, to add class filter data, right? Like just like class filter CSV, but consume JSON,
Oh, that will be nice.
YAML. So
Yeah, that will. Then I can teach a lot of code. So that's a good one.
awesome.
How many people do you have kind of touching your policy and JSON and services stuff? Like how many people are
Uh,
you coordinating?
we are, at, I think, 15 or something, 10 to 15.
Okay,
And
cool.
so maybe 20 now because there's a new department that's also using it. So
I
and
think that's
our
a,
department,
yeah.
yeah. So we use it a lot, and yeah, it's daily use, daily merge, daily changes. But that's mostly to JSON files, not
Mhm.
not to the libraries. The libraries sometimes we have hit a bug, but I have to release a new one. I will do this week or next week.
Do you
So with some fixes.
when you're modifying or when you're modifying those data files, excuse me, do you have some sort of front end that you have people go through, or are they
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. Well, what we mostly do, but we can test. We have a lot of compute nodes and a lot of same nodes, of course. So when you check out, we have complete environment that we call it a run dev JSON, and that will run locally with the local template and JSON files. So
Mhm.
so so we don't have to check in to test the
Right.
templates or JSON files. So and then we can easily debug a service by specifying minus d SSH. Then we can see the merging of the JSON files, which JSON data is used, and it will copy the. And if we change the templates, it will locally copy the template files and locally copy the JSON file, so we can fairly easily test new functionality.
Right. So you have a locally isolated development like
Yeah,
workflow kind of thing,
yeah,
right? That's
and then
awesome.
and then it
That's
works,
great.
and then we check it in. So we don't have to check it in to test it. In the past we did do it, but we made the library such a way that we have also can test locally with JSON and template files.
So your like promotion scheme is basically like local to production.
Yeah, and then we have a merge request that must be approved, like you do, with by us, and then reviewed and will be checked on syntax errors or other things. But if it runs locally, then there's no syntax error yet, so that's okay. So that is our trick. So we just log in on our node, we check our code, and then we do locally create working. Then it will create the master files with all the setup and thing, and then we have a wrapper script. So we don't have to know all the -d debug. So it is very easy with command line options. So I can supply that script also. So that's very easy for us. And that's used a lot because in the past we had to do the CFEngine -d, but that were long class names, so for the people that just starting, command lines are very easy. So that's why we do the wrapper script to hide the complexity for local runs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know when I first started working with CFEngine and CFEngine, I was completely mystified at all these letter option things that were being typed every single time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what?
Yeah.
What? Like, why do I have to do that? But
Yeah.
it's just it's one of those things, like you get acclimated, and and then at some point you really understand what those things are for, like no locks. You don't want any locks, so because you want to run the policy and just see what it does, like in every case.
We do it locally, so even the argument files that we used are also locally copied. So then we can add services or change things.
Yeah.
And so then we can say, oh yeah, and then port it all back to production. So everything is locally, and if you screw it up locally, then you run CFEngine with the policy that is already in the production policy. So it will fix everything again. so you can go back and forth on configuring that system.
Cool.
And that's it. And I think I have to write sometimes something like uninstall a service. Mostly you only install it, but sometimes you also want to uninstall it. But I didn't do it yet.
Yeah. It can be hard to write all the stuff that like auto cleanup and things like that.
Yeah, that's the most difficult, I think.
Well, I suppose we should wrap up our 42nd episode of The Agent is In. I'm so excited. I showed it earlier, but I'll show it again. Here's my 30th anniversary coin. And, of course, 42. So, one last opportunity from the crowd. Any other questions, comments? Nope. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. So thanks for coming. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.